All right, welcome to another episode from the chart readers. So, a pretty interesting few days since my last sector video. All right, I broke them up into groups, right? Them being the different tickers that I cover, and it's interesting to see a number of things. All right, Tilray and CGC, both of them, and I'll show you CGC shortly. They drop volume significantly since the big like pump. I don't know what other word to call it, right? But instead of dumping, it basically stays horizontal. You can even argue uptrend, right? So that's a really strong difference. Again, bigger uptrend, bigger decline in volume, right? So that's a real interesting 1-2 on those two. ACB, I said I like this one more than the other ones. This one definitely went a little more horizontal than I thought. You can see all the attempts at that 613 line. What a line, right? SNDL was the other outlier, and hey, this one at least went a little more up. Not quite the confirmation I want, right? Big candle and then two interesting dojis right there. MSOS, I have no idea what happened. I'm a little curious if there's some news. Otherwise, hey, four moving averages. I'll talk about that when we get to that one, right? And then high tide. I mean, pretty much just riding the 8, right? Obviously, we'd love a little bit more, but hey, that's a pretty not. It's a gnarly resistance line, right? We've talked about this one a lot. I'll obviously focus on this one a little bit more on the video this time, but I mean, just riding the 8's a beautiful thing, right? So overall, I think my main commonality is none of them really replicated this volume day, all right? And most of them pretty much did go down, but hey, the uptrends were there, the 8 moving averages were holding. It was an interesting thing too, all right? I am gonna talk about the Kamala Harris tweet that went out. I think it was Friday. I'll check the dates. We were talking a bunch about it on the Discord. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting list. And obviously, the highlight, the one that matters for this video, is I mean, what? Just under the top 5, right? At the minimum, it's not part of the and more and not listed. It's definitely closer to the top than the bottom. And hey, if you want to call it the middle, again, it's a higher portion of the middle than the bottom, right? So a lot to like about this. But you know me. I'm here to set a higher criteria, and for me, breaking moving averages is part of that important, higher criteria level, right? So excited to make this one for sure, and I'll give you all my thoughts and opinions shortly. But before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support, and then there's a good resistance one up there. I draw these again manually myself. And then when we are done up here, excuse me, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So I'm going to start with Tilray and CGC like I normally do. And again, I started the video with it. I'm going to say it again. To me, when you see a decline in volume, but a relative uptrend, that's an interesting little phenomenon right there. Now, clearly, right, this candle closes at 171. As of today's close, we're at 171. So you can definitely argue it's way more horizontal than this uptrend kind of shows. Hey, I'm seeing us kind of trying to bounce on the 8. I'm seeing us try to break these moving averages. I'm also for sure very aware that we were just there moments ago and then clearly failed it, right? So I'll get to the technicals in a second, right? This Kamala post, I started it with it. This is a big one. This is definitely a big one. This was from her official, this was her at Kamala Twitter account, right? Not to just make it about her, but truth. I know I've used the word. Boom. Dun 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 dun. Right here. Donald Trump has done the same thing. He was actually pretty loud about the fact that like it's gonna get legalized, like whether people like it or not, it's gonna happen through the votes. So just make sure we do it correctly. And again, you can read this too. We have two people that in a week one of them is going to get elected. Again, I'm not here to tell you who I want to win. We're not here to talk about politics, right? But this wasn't that long ago. All right, I know end of August actually feels like a good while. We're kissing the end of October, right? But this was one of two that the man put. I'm sure I can find the other one, but I'm just top of my head, I really can't think of it. And then, like I said, we just saw the VP at VP one is what I remember looking this up. Come on. Dun, 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 dun. Again, this one right here, right? So to me, and again, I looked them up. I was like, that's her official name right there. That was the one. I questioned, was there believe me, I had to make sure that this was real, and I tried to do my homework on it, right? And to believe me, it's less about who wins, and it's more about the fact that they've both said some positive things about the sector. And I think Biden did the same. Number one, I don't think he was as loud as either one. And I think what's really cool is believe me, I've been losing money in this sector since 2014. Knock on wood, things are a lot, I'm at least a little more in control with my sector decisions. I think that's a good way of putting it. And to me, it is because of these colorful lines and the technicals and the thoughts that I share on these videos, right? I think it's cool that, I remember when Obama, man, those hope posters and all of this. I was a sophomore little dummy. I'm saying all these words with this big smile on my face, and dude, I thought he was gonna do so much for the sector. I don't want to say did nothing. I don't really know enough to say what he did and didn't, right? But I feel like as the times have gone, as the candidates have come in and out, I think the approval, the support for, and what feels like the inevitability just keeps getting louder and louder and louder. You know what I mean? And I think it's just really, really highlighted by, like I said, two Truth Social posts by Donald Trump. I think he did one of those two on Twitter as well. And then just you saw it, the one from Kamala not that long ago, right? So what was the date on that one? I don't know if we talked about the date on the 25th, right? So yeah, it was after this big boost, and I think it was this candle right here. Yeah, you can see it was the next big candle, right? That brought it. So the news has been there. All right, the news has been there. The excitement is there, and then again, we're a week away, right? There's a lot of maybes that come with all of it, and I love the maybes because you buy the rumor, sell the news, and maybes just mean rumors, and rumors are good. Rumors bring volume, all that, right? Right now, to me, and I briefly mentioned it, and I think this is a perfect view. We came. We use the 8 to get over the 20. We use the 20 to get to this cluster of the 50 and the 100, and we lost it. Okay? Now, we've used the 8 to get to the 20 to try to battle this. The one argument you can make is this is a tighter cluster, right? These are basically pennies away, as opposed to the fact that there's actually a little bit of space, and maybe you can kind of try to battle this 50. To me, those are still a little tight, and maybe not apples to apples necessarily, but that's a tough two lines right there, especially after the fact that those were a tough two lines given how long we were under it, right? So there's still a moving average battle, and again, this one looks maybe a little bit better, but hey, we still have a big cluster here. And truth be told, we actually haven't really battled these two lines yet, right? Not plus, that's to add more indicators, or that's not what we're trying to do. When I look at Tilray, hey, we've battled it here, we wicked it here, we're kind of rebattling here. You can even say there was a little bit of movement. Maybe that's too many moving averages to say. But hey, we've battled these two lines. And maybe that's enough to give Tilray that little bullish outlier versus CGC, right? Also with CGC, the cluster here is the two hardest lines, right? Like these are the two, by itself, the 100 is no joke, and then the 200 is the hardest. It's the last one for a reason, right? When you're talking about clustering them basically together, and look, this thing looks like it's pretty horizontal, right? I also, oops, I can't really get a good zoom on it. This doesn't look like it's coming as steep down as it was. It's now kind of curving and actually maybe even flattening itself. So I don't know if these two are going to separate anytime soon. Again, I'm not here pretending to know the math, right? But um, the battle of two lines might be easier because Tilray is battling easier two lines versus this one going to two harder lines, all right? But again, we're still seeing the same loss of volume. And hey, this one's less horizontal. This one closed down here and is up here as of now, right? So a little bit more of an up. So it's an interesting 1-2 with these ones, right? When we look at the weekly, all right, the weekly has a little more breadth here. And hey, maybe over the weeks is going to be interesting, right? Let me look at CGC real quick over the weeks again. Oh man, get over this one still has an interesting cluster here. So I really didn't know this, and I'll tell you, I was trying to like lead myself to something and it wasn't that clean. Hey, it happens when I don't practice these, all right? I talked about this view before and I want to do it one more time, all right? Look, I don't know if it's going to happen. I am actually back of my head hoping, all right? And what I'm looking at is this right here, all right? And it's funny, I try not to use the word hope a lot, but hey, this is one of those where like we're looking a little too further out than I find myself comfortable with, so I kind of have to use the word hope, and it is actually true, all right? When we look at Tilray, obviously there was that little pop right there during the IPO, but we basically crashed from 200 all the way down. And what saves it is the 2020 election moment, all right? This first candle right here is the end of October. This one right here is the end of November. This is December. And then January is the inauguration and it, right? We are basically coming to that moment, all right? We're not that far from this from this November candle. The November candle opens down here at 5 and closes up here at 9. Actually wicks for a minute up here, right? There was excitement when the election happened, right? And that brought rumors, that brought a nice little channel. If you can break the 8, you'll go to the 20, right? There was some good things, and I think that carries itself pretty nicely. We're at a place where, hey, maybe the election brings some excitement. Maybe it can get us into that 2 range, and then from there, that's where it could get interesting, all right? I'm hoping the winner, look, I think just to kind of close back to here, Kamala has not won yet. So it's a little easy to say a bunch of things that hopefully will get people to vote for you, right? Hey, let's be honest. Stony below, I'm not a fan of it. Just look, Stonies are a little on the lazy side, right? And hey, we're maybe gonna want to vote so badly, but hey, maybe it doesn't happen, right? If you make this a top 6, top 5, whatever thing on your list, maybe they'll come vote for you. Hey, if I was Trump, I would start dropping a bunch of things and saying, hey, come vote for me. I'll legalize it, this and that, right? So right now we're still in a place where both of them are just kind of, dude, it's a dudettes, my girls out, it's a 50-50 race. Again, taking all just emotions out of it, right? I don't care who you're going to vote for. This from Fox conservative to I don't know what's the most liberal and everything in between. Yo, everyone is still saying it's 50-50, all right? To me, I'm hoping November 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whenever we actually like get the winner, I'm hoping as immediate as possible they say something again about the sector. When you've won and say it again, that's when it's a little more solidified in my eyes. That's when maybe we'll break some candles and make some moves. You know what I mean? So I really, really love, I think I'll even use the word, I love the fact that they both are just throwing positivity into their sector posts. The winner better back it. And I don't even mean like do something. Obviously, if do something, that's a different level. And then we're talking destroying lines, right? But just confirm it for me once you've won, right? Say, hey, by the way, remember those positive things? We're gonna do them or something. I have no tweet anything, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So just keep that in your back pocket, and really across all the tickers, I'll kind of use that view and not say it for as long, right? But look, Tilray. I don't think we're going to move this line down because this is now kind of staying horizontal and stabilizing, right? Break 193. I think if your risk tolerance is a little looser, you can maybe arguably say like 188, 190. At that point, it's just a couple pennies. Break 193 and I will love Tilray. And again, remember the monthly is saying actually if you can break like 216, 27, let's even call it 220. Oof, that's probably the bigger money line, all right? With CGC, okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Let's draw a line. I probably deleted it on the last video because just we need to break the 200 moving average, right? The 200 average is sitting at $6.23. From there, it's just a little bit of risk tolerance. I think 650 is probably the number. I think if we can break 650, I'll draw that line because that actually ended up being, look at that line, all right? It's the bottom of those two, top of that, bottom of those two, bottom of that. I like this line. I think 648, 650, whatever, right? Break that and yeah, $8 might be hard to stop. Don't underestimate the two moving averages both these stocks are battling, all right? Yeah, this was a long on these two. I apologize if but let's just keep going. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at ACB and SNDL next. Hey, I liked these two. Clearly, I would say SNDL did better than ACB, right? But I think one of the positive things is when you're looking at five and you can break it down to between these two, and hey, one of the two was the one that did better than the others, hey, that's not too bad. And if you can kind of get to that over the course of your trading, profession and career and all that, oh my goodness, can you imagine what things will look like? So real quick, hey, if you can let me know. No, wait, what do I say? Subscribe and share. That's what it is. Let's just get into it. Let's do this, okay? I'm liking the 8 moving average going up. It looks like the 20 is about to golden cross both the 50 and the 100, right? Like these are staying horizontal. This one's coming up. I mean, there's things to like here, all right? The one thing that still hasn't happened is we have not confirmed the break of this 210. All right, that's a great candle. That's not confirmation. That's a great candle. Two dojis don't count. The one thing I said on my last video was I was hoping that the 8 moving average would actually get over this line so that when we come down, if we come down, we only come down to the 8 moving average and don't even worry about this 210, right? So far the 8's actually doing the job. Imagine how much happier I would be if the 20 can catch up to or get over. Like if the 20 can get to like 209, obviously I don't want to say who cares, right? But like, oh man, the support is there and that's a beautiful thing, right? But so far the 8 is a strong, powerful line, right? And hopefully, if we come down, we never go lower than that. Realistically, this 215 is actually a pretty strong line. And hey, if I had to guess, just kind of following the slope, we're probably going to get to 215 tomorrow, 216 with that 8 moving average. So SNDL, though it hasn't confirmed, I love what I'm seeing with the moving averages. We're over them all. We haven't confirmed and flown just yet, but hey, it was the theme of one of my videos. It's a resistance. It's a resistance. I know this looks good, but there's really no confirmation there. It's a resistance, 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 resistance. This tries to like bounce on it and then just loses the hot knife through butter. hot knife through butter, hot knife through butter. I want to use as a support and take off, or like I said, just use them. You do that with the moving averages and never need to worry about that line, right? But so far, I like this one the most. And again, I think the cool thing is, and again, I'm not bragging, right? I'm just saying I hope you saw what I did and you can do it as well. You're looking at 5, 6 stocks. You kind of have to group them, decide which one you like the most, and then go from there. All right. With ACB, man, look at all the wick attempts at that 613 line. All right. To me, it makes me happy when I draw a line like that and I can see the strong battle. Generally speaking, I respect these lines, but hey, when I'm above them all, right, I better be clicking good, right? Like that's the goal, clicking well. I'm not sure which one's grammatically correct, but you get it, right? So I like this line right now. I do. Let's break that line and we'll head up to the 749 I have next, right? 743, whatever. Otherwise, there are 5 moving averages right here, right? And as much as I love the golden cross that's happening here, it would be very easy to get sucked into this tornado of 5. You go from the bottom to the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom. I like the earnings, and I can't stress it enough. My simple human opinions of the earnings does not matter. All right, until we can get escape these lines, until we can break that 613, yeah, it is what it is, and we're just kind of at the mercy of the moving averages. You know what I mean? So, yeah, yeah. There's not too much more to say on those, right? Break the lines and they'll continue. Otherwise, let the moving averages kind of say the story. Clearly, SNDL has now surpassed itself over ACB, right? And I still think SNDL is surpassed itself over Tilray and CGC. I think the one thing that hinders SNDL just a little bit, and yeah, I use the word hinder lightly, is the volume, right? 2.3 million compared to Tilray. Clearly, if Tilray gets on a hot streak, when your volume is 10x, you're going to do bigger things. You know what I mean? I think CGC is in the sixes. Yeah, it's in the sixes. So maybe 3x isn't as big, but yeah, SNDL just doesn't have as big a volume. So that's the only real, like, kind of like, I wish it was a little better. Otherwise, yeah, SNDL between the 4 that we've looked at so far has been the best, right? So, the next one I want to look at is HITI. Oh, let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. You know I'm not here to say I'm right all the time. So, yeah, let's come take a look at HITI. This is nice. All right, this is nice. This is nice. I'm going to say it one more time. This is nice. I don't know if you just watched the last video, or sorry, not the last video, the last 2 tickers. This is a new chapter, right? What I like, and again, nothing's guaranteed. You know that, right? I got no crystal ball. I don't know, like, but what I really like is now this 245, wow, dyslexic, this 254 resistance that has just been a wild since May or June, whatever you want to call it, of 2022, a 2-year resistance. Now that we're over it, we also have the 8 moving average, and where is it? Right there. We actually have the 20 moving average over the line. We have 2 moving averages and the support of this thing in my eyes. HITI has now built itself a good little wall right here, all right? What was a ceiling that just couldn't break is hopefully turning into a support wall or a floor, whatever you want to call it, right? So I love these 2 moving averages over that line. That really was the first thing I wanted to make sure I called out in this video, because again, we've it's so easy to lose a 2-year resistance you just broke. Even and let's just look at the breaks real quick, right? This right here is the best 1-2 candle behind it, and let's be honest, that's probably not the best of confirmations right there, right? Even since we broke all the moving averages and been running, that's a good candle, that's not confirmation. That's a good candle, that's not good confirmation. That's a good candle, that's not good confirmation. That's all right. It's a little small, but hey, it at least got over that, and maybe you can say that was the 1-2. Again, these 2 aren't the best 1-2 in my eyes, all right? Doji don't count, so it can't be those 2. It can't be those 2. Maybe it's these two. Maybe it's these two. But again, if it really was these two, I think these would have followed a little bit more. The one thing though, is this 315 line. Okay, so I'm gonna come all the way back in history, and man, I don't know if I should have made a second video because now we're starting to go into a long ass time, right? Oh, I cursed. I'm sorry, I cursed. This 315 line, okay, in my opinion, this right here, and I'm looking at the volume down here. This is probably the first consistent big volume moment for high tide, right? Launches right here, sad little downtrend, a beautiful little uptrend that came with nice look, pump and dump. Pump and dump. Obviously, those are two bigger ones. This is the first sustained little moment. That's our 315 line. And obviously, there's a top of this and some. This 315 is our IPO line. All right. And the IPO line ain't easy. It really isn't. But oh my goodness, if that breaks, oh my goodness. All right. So this 254 line was a 2-year battle. This is an IPO battle from basically 2019, right? So these are two big lines, and oh my goodness. Number one, I think the fact that we're close to them and trying to battle them just says a lot. Number two, yeah, if we can break that, none of this stuff counts because the volume is so insignificantly different from where we're at, right? I think the one cool thing, and I think this view shows it, look how sustainable that uptrend has been right there. That's nice. That really is. There was one right here, but look at the slope of that thing, right? Like this is starts down here and then just gradually lovely goes, couple pops, but like that's a nice long little pool right there, right? This is choppy and ugly, and obviously that big drop and this and this. This was obviously not as long as this, like that's a nice little lovely moment of volume, and obviously it starts basically right at that little right. So there's a lot to like here. I think I kind of regret not doing another high tide breakout, but I don't want to be seen like a fanboy by doing that. I really don't like to like favor stocks. I think that takes away from a lot of the chart reader thing and the viewer requests and all that, But look, that's a hard line. That's really the point of this video. And sometimes hard lines just don't make sense with the technicals. All right, look, I know the RSI just got as high as 84. I still need to worry when I see a 78. 80 is that high point, right? So it's cool that we're kind of doing a little horizontal sustain here. I think, a little bit more before I'm going to start to believe that. There's a little bit of a scary green, could be a red, but the one positive to take, even if that happens on a single big bad red candle, I'm not at a place where I think we're gonna lose this 254. Because again, we got it's just barely peaking, just barely peaking, but it's over it. And I'm here believing the 20 is gonna catch it, right? Because I have no reason not to. We've been using the 8 and the 20 pretty well. You can actually say we've been kind of trying to use it since back here, right? Since beginning of September. So, yeah. Damn, we're already at 30 minutes. I wanted to talk about MSOS, and I think more than anything, I'm going to ask questions on that one. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's just do that. Let's come into MSOS. This is wild. This is a wild turn of events, especially after like the Kamala thing happened. I mean, I can't put my finger on it. TCNNF, that's why. Yo, did this have earn? This was the strongest one, and I mean, I've been talking about that strength for a while. That makes sense. Did Cura do the same thing? Curaleaf? Oh, you did too. Hey, what happened? This I would maybe say was a technical rejection, but now that the two of them had a really bad Monday and Tuesday like that, where's Cresco Labs? Oof, what happened with the MSOs? I think there's some news that I maybe missed because yeah, there's no real big reason for this to reverse that badly. There's no real reason for like if you want to say, hey, we got over the 100 on fake news, couldn't confirm, let's come back. This 8 probably should have held. These 2 lines should have held. One of those 3 should have held. I'm shocked we're all the way down here. So like I know that looks like an insignificant 6, but that's a brutal candle. TCNNF. This is the only one. This is the ticker that I remember because of how strong it was. Um, that's wild. How high was your RSI? 76. I mean, 76 ain't low, but man, let me know if one of these had an earnings. Let me know if there was some significant news. But yo, MSOS is a significant outlier here. We're already at 30 minutes, and I don't really want to give just opinions on if there's some news I don't know. But hey, on the baseline, we're now under all the moving averages. Our MACD has taken a drastic shift. Our RSI has a divergence that we don't like, and we've seen MSOS. I mean, what are you at right here? That's a 24. What are you at right here? That's a 26. That would be a long ways down from a 48. Even this right here at a 30 would still be a long ways down, right? So um I need this to come back to at least 7 tomorrow. Obviously, I would love it to come higher and up to like 713. But yeah, $7 is the bare bone minimum for MSOS. And yeah, I really don't understand why this one tanked compared to the others. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if there's something I missed. But oh man, hey, I appreciate you all so much though.